And today on our board, we're with Nicky from Kosmos Games. How are you, Nicky? Are you okay?
Fine, thank you very much. Yeah, a bit bored of being inside, but you know, yeah, good, thank you.
It's the way it is at the moment, isn't it? That's the thing. So, what's your position at Kosmos Games?
I am the board game sales and marketing manager, but we have quite a small team in the UK, so we distribute Kosmos and Devere games. So we basically have to be a jack of all trades, really.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're a fantastic thing, aren't they, board games? Do you think they improve people's mental health?
I think they absolutely do, yeah, totally. I mean, it's much better than sitting doom scrolling through your phone. It's, yeah, that's not good for anyone's mental health. I think especially with children at the moment being kind of caught indoors for such a long length of time and being on the screen, if you can get them off and playing something, I think that can only be a positive thing. We have a game actually that we kind of push a little bit. It's a Devere game called The Colour Monster, and it's aimed at children from like 3+, and it encourages them to speak with their parents about their feelings, kind of in the medium of a board game. But it's great because it helps children then to think, oh, it's not just me that gets angry, mommy gets angry, or daddy gets angry, or they're happy, or they're confused. And just talking about mental health issues, I mean, if you can do it while you're having fun, that's got to be a good thing, really. Yeah.
Basically, you're getting that stuff out there. You're using board games to confront mental health issues and get people talking.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good idea. I think anytime you're playing and interacting with people, even if it's not kind of face to face at the moment, most of our games, certainly the 2-player games, can be played with somebody else on screen, like across the miles. I had somebody recently who plays with his girlfriend. He's in Australia and she's in Argentina at the moment, and they play exit games together. And I think anything that has that connection, that shared experience, can only be good for your mental health.
It's got to be, hasn't it? Now, the exit games, they've really taken off, haven't they? Been quite popular.
Indeed. Yeah, we've got about 14. We've got 3 more coming out this year. But people just like them because it's, you know, it's an experience like going to the cinema or going to, you know, bowling, whatever, but something you can do together, which is fantastic. We have lots of different titles. We also have something called the adventure games, which are kind of like the exits in that they've got lots of riddles in, but they're more narrative. They're a bit like a choose your own adventure from, you know, the 80s and 90s. And you can actually pass them on to somebody else afterwards. So that's great. And we have got an exit advent calendar coming out next year. So that's quite exciting.
I know it took off in the last few years, these exit rooms where people would go. Is it exit rooms or escape rooms?
Escape rooms,
but I think that this is the kind of vibe that I'm getting from that line that you've brought out. But you can do it at home, which is a good idea when there's a pandemic. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So what else have you got that would interest people?
Well,
I mean, I'm giving you when I say interest people, I'm giving you a broad range that would for everybody, young and old.
Hopefully everything will interest people, but I'm just thinking what we've got coming out fairly soon. We've got, if you like kind of slightly heavier games, we've got a game called Anno. It's a big old chunky thing here. Yeah. Which is coming out later in the year, and that is a kind of trader game. Now that was originally a computer game, which got kind of a cult following, and we've changed it into a board game. Martin Wallace, who made Brass Birmingham and the like, has turned it into a fantastic board game. So that's a really nice kind of trading up Tetri kind of game. We have lots of 2-player games which have done obviously really, really well during lockdown. Things like Targi and Kahuna and Aquilin. Some of which, you know, will make you fight with your partner, some of which might bring you together. So, you know, anything that gets you talking, I guess, is good.
Yeah. The wife who I co-host the radio show with, she was getting quite angry when I was beating her at Aquila. She was really losing the plot over that one. She's like, man, you're so good at this. So I think you can do some spoiling tactics there, and she didn't like that, but it was all good fun. And straight away, let's have another game. I'll beat you this time.
Absolutely.
I think I found with your games, they've got that type of spirit in them where you lose a game, it's not too long. Come on, we'll have another game. They've got that replayability value, and I think that is a good thing.
Yeah, we have quite a few. I mean, things like The Crew, which won Kentish Builders Yard last year. I don't know if you've played that. That's a trick-taking card game that just went mental, to be honest. There was so much interest in that, and it's had such good reviews. And that's, again, one that it's got 50 missions. And you start off and you think, oh, this is actually quite easy, you know, this is no problem. And they get harder and harder. And it's just like, oh, I've just got to beat this. I've just got to beat this. People keep going at it. So those are really great. But we've also got, you know, bigger games like the Andor series, which can last for hours. I mean, Anno will take you, the first time you play it, probably 2-3 hours, you know, until you kind of get the hang of it. But if that's what you want for an evening's entertainment, sitting down for the whole evening playing a solid game with a group of people, then we have those to keep you covered as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was going to say, do you think board games are for everyone? Or I did say it, I can't remember now. And I think you've covered that by, there's a board game for everyone. It's not just that there's one board game that will like appeal to everyone, but there's so many ranges now. And what you mentioned there with The Crew and trick-taking games, now a lot of, I'm not being ageist here or anything like that, because I'm clocking on myself. I'm nearly 51. So a lot of trick-taking games appeals to the older generation because the big bridge players.
Yeah.
So that could be one of the reasons. And we found that with the older generation that have been listening to Are You Bored with us on FM radio, they've wrote to us. They're not kind of like into the YouTube generation so much.
Yeah.
But listening to the radio, we've found that, talking about it on the radio, it's brought a new audience in. But that new audience is people over 40. Going towards and even mid-70s, and they've been asking about board games and what do we recommend just from listening to our show on FM radio in the UK. And we think that is the appeal, like you say, something like The Crew, trick-taking game. They've played bridge, and it's not too much of a leap for them to take that on. There's something,
and I think as well, a lot of kids being back from university as well who are playing this, who are staying now at home with their parents. I mean, my eldest has been back from Glasgow. So there's a game there that they enjoy because it's fun and it's new and it's fresh and it's cooperative, but also their parents can join in. So people that are stuck at home during lockdown, it's just another thing that I think that's one of the reasons why it's taken off so well. It's been because it does appeal to a wider generation. It's really cool.
So I believe you've got a game called My City?
My City. Oh, I love My City. Yes.
Yeah, that's been getting rave reviews, hasn't it?
It has indeed. Yes. It's a game that you can play as a legacy game, or it's a game that you can play just as kind of a one-off. So if you're teaching someone or someone comes into your group, you can just show them how to play it really easily. But the legacy game involves kind of, if you win, you might have to put a rock onto your city, which means you have something more to avoid next time. If you lose, you'll get a positive point to help you win next time. So it keeps it very even throughout the 24 chapters. It's one that I've played with my children here at home and with friends and family over Zoom, and it's worked really, really well. But that was nominated for Spiel des Jahres last year, and it was on Shut Up and Sit Down, I think, this morning, reviewing it. And it's, again, had rave reviews because it's just a really good, simple, but very involving and addictive game. Yeah, I like My City.
Well, when I was saying about the game, is there a game that would appeal to everyone? That might be the actual game, because when you're putting stuff like that, and this is quite rare, really, that a legacy game, but it's still a normal game as well. So basically, you've got the two, haven't you? So that's going to appeal to a broad spectrum. And then we come to something like Aqualin. Have I said that right? I always get it.
It is Aquilin, yeah.
No, I've got it right. So, I mean, that is a wonderful little game. It reminds me a bit of, what is it, Hive.
Yes.
It's got that Hive vibe, but I think it's easier to pick up than Hive. You can more or less, it's like, you look at it and you think, oh, is this going to be complicated? And then you just start, look at the rules, not many rules, and you're starting playing, and it's like, wow, but it's still got the depth.
Yes, it has.
I think that's the important thing, that it's something that you can just say, this is so easy to learn, but hard to master.
Yeah, a lot of strategy in that game. And it's so, the piece of the so nice and kind of clunky. Those tiles are just really nice. It's just really well put together. It's a nice feel.
That's what we were discussing on the radio and saying it's the actual feel of the game itself.
Yeah.
You know you've got a really good product there. And hopefully, well, I think it has been a hit for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's done very well, Aquilin, because it's kind of a gateway game. So it's not a game that's confined to just like hardened board gamers. It's one that appeals to everybody. We've got a few like I've got that one. We've got Lost Words, which is a very, very beautiful card game, which is based on the best-selling book and has this amazing art and amazing poems in it. And that, again, has been a great gateway game. You can transport it around, you can teach it to your mom, you can play it with your kids, and it draws more people into the sport, so to say, and I think that's really cool.
Well, where do you see Kosmos Games going over the next couple of years?
Well, we've been around as a distributor in the UK for, I think, about 5 years or so, but Kosmos itself has been around in Germany for about 200 years. They started off doing science kits, and they've come into board games, and they've become kind of synonymous with really kind of high quality, fun games. So it's not like a kind of throwaway thing. It's much more kind of solid, good quality things. I think we're just going to keep going from strength to strength. Certainly things like the exit games, whereas in, say, 2018, we sold about 100,000 over the year. We'd done that last year by about halfway through the year. So we know part of that obviously is due to lockdown and people just wanting something to do at home. But part of it is just, people are looking for games. People are looking for things to do that doesn't involve screen time. And I think parents especially are looking for things to do with their children that doesn't involve them just, staring at a screen.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I think you're doing fantastic work, and I hope you keep up with that. And I hope that we can have you on the show again soon.
Absolutely.
We really would look forward to that.
No problem. It's been a fun thing to do. Thank you for spending the afternoon with me.